This season is definitely something that is going to be interesting, right? Some teams appreciate you, Music Demar, for letting me know that my mic was muted for a moment. Didn't see that. Windows updated and evidently disconnected the Rode mic. But yeah, well, to what I was saying is that teams and drivers get a little bit chippy as it gets on, and they start feeling as if the cars are getting into place. It doesn't matter what happened last season; it just starts mattering about we're going to get on with this season. I'm feeling like I got an opportunity, a chance, and the drivers start getting a little bit testy with that, which is understandable. They're somewhat, as people would say, born and bred, ready to race, and that's what you're going to start getting. So this is, to me, always an interesting time. And I will say this, shit, they start really knowing if they behind the back foot or they not. They really do. They start really kind of seeing like, hey, are we behind, or are we gonna be okay, or are things about to be pretty horrible for us? They start getting that type of situation happening right then and there. And a lot of drivers, reality starts sinking in. And sometimes that reality is not a good one. Sometimes that reality, it sucks, because you start realizing that, yo, we're about to be so far off the pace at the beginning of this season. It's not going to be a good time. And then other drivers, if the programs are running good and they're feeling good about it, they start feeling like, yo, we got a shot right here. And really, that's what a lot of people, including myself, I'm hoping is going to be the case with Lewis Hamilton. I'm hoping that's going to be the case with Ferrari. I'm hoping that Ferrari is not going to be behind and unable to develop another season, because that is pretty much what Ferrari has been the last few seasons. It hasn't been the best for them at all. So let's hope that that won't be the case. Let's hope that things can change this time around. And let's also hope that things hold kind of consistent with what Lewis Hamilton has been able to do his year two with the other two teams that he was with, McLaren and Mercedes. We definitely hope to happen. And right here, I'm going to bring in an image. We had an Audi lockup. So you'll see that Audi lockup right there. So yeah, that's what we're going for. That's what we're hoping. Piastri just got the charge. There's going to be a lot of in and off the track right now. A lot of in and off the track. That's exactly what we're going to see. A lot of in and off the track. You're going to see drivers coming in, coming out. Verstappen is out there. It's kind of, now we do have a few teams that are running their programs where, and I think it kind of make, I think it not kind of, I do think it makes a lot of sense when I see teams give a driver a full day, right? Give your driver a full day. And then I see other teams kind of split the day in half. You know, we got a driver the first session. We got a driver, what's going on, Wagyu? We got a driver the second session. If I was a driver, I honestly would prefer to have that whole day, right? I would prefer to get that whole day, especially if I'm the lead driver. So I would prefer, yo, I get a whole day in day one, especially if I'm driver one. Then we get the driver two a whole day in day two. And then in day three, we can split. Maybe I get the first session or the second session. Now, me as a driver, I would want to, if I had a whole day and it was, I got session one, session two, which means I got the morning and the evening. And then based off whatever my experience was, wherever I struggled, if it was the earlier times, which temperatures can be a little lower, and then the later times, temperature can be higher, but usually out in the desert, it kind of works inverse. That first session, you might get a little hot, and then you kind of split it on the back half, where in the desert, you got a hot, then it kind of cools off. Wherever I kind of struggled, that's where I'm going to want my one or two session on day three. That's kind of how I would take it. But as you see right there, we have an Audi that had lockups. If it's your first time watching Formula One testing, those grates that you see are Aero rakes, and that is another tool that teams use in order to find out how air is moving across the car. Now, right there, you have your Aero rakes just before the rear. So you're going to be measuring more or trying to get more of an idea of what air is doing aft of the cockpit. This next image that I'm going to bring in is going to be the Red Bull car, and you'll see the aero rakes definitely placed elsewhere. So let me go ahead and bring that in. That is Max. So Max Verstappen is out on track, and with his new number 3, there was some controversy back and forth whether he was going to stay with 3 or go with something different, or go with 69. Was he going to go with 69? I really didn't even pay attention too much to the actual McLaren. Honestly, when they kind of just launched it, we had McLaren and I think we had Aston Martin drop their liveries. I really didn't even pay too much attention to those, but Red Bull launching theirs, it was, as lame as it usually typically is. Red Bull doesn't do a lot with their liveries. They don't even do a lot with their liveries in the season. The Racing Bulls will do a bit more with their liveries than Red Bull will do with theirs in the season. So that's usually more interesting to watch. Alpine, not so much. Last season, Williams did quite a bit with their liveries. Who else did something with their liveries quite a bit? McLaren typically does. McLaren typically does a little bit with their liveries as well. So that's always interesting to also check. And here we go right here. And I want to start filtering out some of these pictures, actually. As we start adding to our catalog of testing photos, I'll start filtering out some of these other photos. So here, right here, we're going to go ahead and add in the Max Verstappen. And so here's Max Verstappen on track with the aero rakes just before the front tires. And that's where you can see how the position of aero rakes will be depending on what they need. Now, there are other aero rakes that teams can put aft of the rear tires, more in the line, more inside the width of the rear wing. And we just had a position change. Again, I think, Pia was up, and I guess I missed it when Verstappen was up. Pia's now up again, but he's also in the pits. So you will see components like this change throughout the car. Now, my favorite part of when these teams are out there on track is when these teams start using flow viz. Now, when the flow viz starts coming out, yeah, it is good. It is good to see Bottas back in Formula One. That is true, Debbie. It is good to see Bottas. It's good to see Perez back in Formula One too. Let's not play. We got Bottas's name on the charts now. It's also good to see Perez back in Formula One, in my opinion. I think Perez was given a bad deal, Red Bull, but the number 2 seat Red Bull typically is a bad deal anyway. And that's why some of us, or many of us, are going to be watching to see what happens with Hajar. Unfortunately, it's an uphill battle, but I'm hoping that with Hajar and so many changes in the team, it won't be as bad. What's up, Julius, in the chat? Brother, it is early. It is early, 3:12 in the morning, so I'm hoping it's not as bad. So right now we got Pia in the pits. We have Verstappen in the pits, Russell in the pits, Sainz out there with Williams. We got to remember, this is Williams, pretty much their first time hitting the track with the car. And up until right now, things haven't been that great for them. They messed around, didn't do what they needed, or didn't get what they needed to get done in order for them to participate in the shakedown, which James Vowles says it's not so much loss. The way James Vowles puts it is they're probably going to be on target. They won't have a lot to be worried about. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think that's the case. Honestly, I don't. I think that there's quite a bit to be lost when you don't make it. When you don't make it to a shakedown in a new era of regulation with new cars, I think there's a lot to miss. And I do honestly think that there's a large possibility that, yeah, they're gonna be on the back foot. Now, I don't want Williams to be on the back foot. Let me be very clear when I'm talking about this. I don't want Williams to be on the back foot. I honestly want Williams to be in a very competitive form. I want to see Williams come out very strong, and that is really what I'm hoping for. I'm not hoping for Williams to fail. I don't want Williams to fail. I actually want Williams to succeed. It was a good moment to see that Carlos was able to get a podium in a Williams, especially with the situation saying that they were pretty much done developing for the season. But when, I just can't ignore real situations when you don't make a shakedown and we're in a new era of regulation. I can't just think that, hey, everything's going to be sweet and cotton candy with you. It's not. It's going to be very difficult, in my opinion. But I could be wrong. But James Viles himself even said that there were things that he probably wish he did that he didn't get done. So with James Viles admitting to that, then I'm of course on board to say that yeah, things might not be so cool. Things might not go so well with Williams coming up this season. And that'd be a shame, but that is the way it goes. Now, throughout the course of the season, I think that they will develop. I honestly do. I think that Williams will develop, and hopefully they develop well. Now, how well they develop, I don't know, but I hope that it's highly damn competitive. I can tell you that. So, and I'm also, what's something else that I hadn't really spoke on, but I am also concerned about Albon. I'm concerned about his place in the team, given his performance this season. And I will say this: I think that his performance this season will be weighed heavily depending on how Carlos does. If Carlos has a very competitive season and Albon kind of seems stuck, Lindbad right there at the top of the screen, then I think that it's possible. Now, it's possible. Now, two things to me, in my opinion, would need to take place. All right. Carlos would need to have a magnanimous season, and Williams would need to feel as if their car is being held back by one of their drivers. If that's not the case, I think Albon would be okay. But if it is the case, if Carlos is running it up within comparison to where they are, and Williams feels the car is strong and Albon is holding it back, Williams is not a cutthroat team. So I don't think James Viles is just going to cut Albon in the season. Albon's earned a bit more of leeway than that. But it's possible the following season, I got to look up Albon's contract. But it is possible with the young talent up and coming and Carlos probably cementing himself as a number one driver and a very well-seasoned driver and a driver who's driven for bigger teams, bigger programs, that they start looking and saying, okay, maybe Albon is what he is. And if this is what Albon's going to be, could we be better served by getting a younger driver, paying less, and having a higher ceiling? That to me is a real scenario. So right now we got Lindbad, he's sitting at the top. We got Verstappen third. We got Sainz fourth. We got Hamilton fifth. Now let's keep this also a buck. Hamilton in fifth is not a celebration. I think we all can agree with that, right? Hamilton in fifth is not a celebration. That's not where we want to see Hamilton in fifth. We saw so much of fifth place, it ain't even funny. We saw a lot of fifth place. I don't think we're trying to watch a lot more fifth places. I think we're all looking to see more than fifth place. For sure. Right here we got Racing Bulls out there. They do not have any type of aero equipment on the car right now. They don't have any flow viz. They don't have any aero rakes. It is a good image of that front wing. Several different little variations of the front wing that we've seen from photos coming out, and I'm pretty sure we'll look at some of those before the season gets started. But that was at 10:36, so just going back a little bit in the log. Also, they talk about the boost overtake mode here. All right, new season, new regulations. As you see right here, new terminology. This year, you'll hear a lot about boost, which is all about energy deployment from the battery, as overtake is similar. Now, I did see that they had a informative piece on if you're using overtake mode and boost mode, does one or the other cancel each other out? And from what I gathered, it was no, that they kind of can be compounded. And that was one of the things I was wondering if that was going to be something that was going to be a situation. Like, are you going to be able to compound and double these up? So it would seem like, yeah, you probably will be able to double up on your boost mode and overtake mode. But this is going to be a learning season for not only teams, the FIA, everybody. Seeing how these cars are going to perform, seeing how these different modes are going to interact with each other, seeing how the new power unit split is going to be, because when you get into race trim, it's different. We do have a yellow flag out on track, but it is clear. Sector 10, but it is clear. So that came and went. So evidently probably somebody just ran off track, gathered themselves up. So no big deal right there. But yeah, no big time pictures, or not big time pictures, but no, Colapinto was out there, but no big time changes right now. Everybody's just trying to get out there and make sure everything's going to work. We'll have a more in-depth report later on as more news starts coming out. Drivers start going into the bullpen, start talking, giving their feedback, saying how they felt the car. Right now, they're just getting cute, cuddly, and cozy. That's pretty much all that's happening right now. Cute, cuddly, and cozy with the car. Nothing major is going to be breaking out at this point in time. As we do get more updates, we'll see. So far, only picture really posted right here. And other than that, how are I gotta ask you all, are you all excited for the season? Are y'all kind of, what's going on? Paul in the chat, man. I told you that's Mr. Show Up anytime, all the time. Paul sitting up. Let's go, fam. Happy Wednesday. Hope everyone has a wonderful day. Smash that like, y'all. Peace and love to you, bro. Tell me, that's Mr. Check-In. That's Mr. Check-In. I'm gonna put a poll in the chat. I want to know, are you all excited about this season, or y'all still kind of hung over from the previous season? Because some people, I think, are still kind of hung over. Some people aren't even tuning in. I'm gonna tell you just like that. Some people aren't even tuning in. Just keeping it a buck with you. Some people are definitely feeling like, nah, I'm not feeling it. Or they are feeling it. So I just want to know where some of you all sit, how some of you all are feeling. Y'all in on it? If y'all out on it, what y'all got? Oh, 100%. Y'all saying y'all pumped. I got that. I feel you on that. We got a little issue going on, but it should work itself out. It's early. YouTube can be a little glitchy this early, especially a lot of things happen in the early times. I don't know if y'all realize that with internet service, with YouTube, a lot of funny things happen between the 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. time frame. Sometimes y'all got to check your internet service, because sometimes internet service providers give you different streaming rates depending on the time, and they kind of hold you back, or they boost you up, or they give you a boost of internet speed at between 3 and 6 a.m. And then after 6 a.m. it goes back. So you got to check that, because I have a measurement tool right there, and it's up to 6,000. I rarely see 6,000 on a regular day. So, that's kind of crazy, and it's fluctuating right now. So that just kind of tells me it's going back and forth. The internet providers can be funny. So check that. It's just food for thought. But hey, candidate Salmon tuned in on on the way to work. What time zone are you in? Candidates, what time zone are you in? Are you East Coast or are you Pacific time? Paul, I think Paul is Central time. So Paul's probably up. Paul's probably coming home from work, actually. Shit. Paul's probably not even going to work. He's probably coming home from work. That's crazy work. Big shout out to Paul, though. Oh, I do have an announcement. I'm going to try to see about us doing a giveaway on day 3 of testing. All right. So the way you get your name into the giveaway is by doing super chats. Now, understand this shipping is likely inside the 50 states with so many things going on, but we'll try to work it out and see what we can do. But I'm going to see you're East Coast. Paul, okay, so you still East Coast. Okay, so I thought Paul might be Central time, but he's East Coast. UK, oh, UK. So man, it's 800 time. It's 800 your time. it's 800 time. Your time is good and be on the top part of the morning. Your time, you straight. Paul is getting up for work, right? I was up dealing with some BS, and I just, it wasn't comfortable for me to even lay down. So I just said, you know what, we're just going to go ahead and kick it in early. I wasn't going to come on until 4:30 Eastern Standard Time, but man, I said, wow, I'm up dealing with something. I might as well just go on early and spend some time with you all. Limbad is at the top of the charts with a 137. Now, these times are going to keep ticking down. Remember, Russell was up there for a moment with the 139. So do keep that in mind. Times are going to keep ticking, and we'll see how that goes. All right. So there's nothing much really going on right now. Like I said, this is day one, first part of the session. This is how it's going to be. There's usually nothing too crazy going on at this point in time in the testing. Hey, man, I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate y'all for sure. So it's usually kind of vanilla at this point in time. It's nothing real too big. But I do want to point out, let's just point this out because some people have not been here. This might be their first season. Yo, did anybody else have issues with Apple TV and the Formula One TV app? Did anybody else have an issue with that? Did you see how they pretty much are just kind of cornering the market on access to Formula One this season? It's a bit wild for real. It's a bit wild. But yeah, that you got to have even if you got the Formula One TV app, you still have to have an Apple TV account in order to even log on to your Formula One TV app. So I thought it was going to be Formula One TV customers were just going to be Formula One TV, but if you wanted to watch Formula One as far as televised nationally or worldwide and you didn't have the app, then you would have to have Apple TV. But even Formula One TV subscribers have to have an Apple TV login. So that's pretty much what they're doing there. So that was a little wild too. So there's not a lot of things going on right now. We will likely, there's only 2 hours and 34 minutes left right now in the session one for day one. This is the morning session. There will be an afternoon and evening session. And that's all that we have pretty much going on right now. Hamilton is in the pits. Hamilton was out on track. I think they're splitting the day for Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. Like I was saying earlier, Hamilton being in fifth is not an accomplishment. If by day three, that is still where Ferrari is sitting, I don't want to hear anything that even is remotely close to something called sandbagging. We went through the sandbagging phase with Mercedes when they went to the slim side pod revision, and it just turned out to be a complete dumpster fire. It was not sandbagged. They were literally behind. There was nothing sandbagging about that with Mercedes. So if Ferrari is still pumping in times where they're sitting around 5 and 6, that's not a good indication by day three. It's not a good indication by day three. Usually by day three, teams are trying to lean on the car and see what they really have, especially towards that end. Like I said, when racers get a bit chippy, if that's what we're seeing, yo, it's a problem. It's a problem. Julie said F1 TV app doesn't work anymore. They shut down after last race. Oh, that's not entirely true. That's not entirely true, brother. It actually still does work. You still do have you still gonna have your schedule in there. You're still gonna have media or what would I call it? Content is still gonna be posted in there. So far that I know, yeah, they even have a tab for the 2026 season. Even the Bahrain testing is up right there in the app where you can see the schedule. So if you don't, now maybe they're not going to stream the racing in there anymore. Maybe that's going to be the case. Maybe that's what you're saying. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't think I like the setup. I don't think I like the setup for the Formula One TV and the Apple TV app. I don't really like the setup. Now I will try to be here later. I do have therapy today. So with that being said, I might not be here later, but I am going to try to be here later. So I'll see how that goes. But yeah, sometimes therapy can take some energy out of you. So I might not be on here later, but we will try to reconvene back in especially day two, top of the morning, and see how that goes for sure. So right now, pretty much every driver is in the pits right now. No, I hate saying that. It's not pretty much every driver. We have 3 drivers out on track. That's a better way to say it. No, actually, we got 5 drivers out on track. We got Verstappen, Russell, Sainz. Well, I thought that, never mind, Hamilton's not in. And we got Limbaugh. So we got 4 drivers out on track. Everybody else is in the pits, doing whatever they got to do, talking, having conversation, dialogue on what might need to be changed, what are we trying next, where are we going to go from here, trying to get these cars turned up. So as I told you before, I actually like to see more flow viz. I want to start seeing cars with flow viz. And what I can tell you is when you see cars with flow viz, that's when you can get a real good visual picture of how that air is moving across the car. I could tell you that. We got another picture right now coming in, Aston Martin. Their aero rakes are a little less involved. I'm going to try to bring this picture in, a little less involved. So let me see. You got AMR, day one. Let's bring that in, see what that looks like. I hate that for real. I hate when the pictures are all kinds of funky sizes, but it also depends on who's taking the picture. So let me bring the Aston Martin in because that is another team. We get to see this car with some color on it actually on track in its real form. So I think that's what's important. So let's take a look at this Aston Martin real quick so you can see what it looks like with paint on it. It's probably not paint. It's probably some type of film, but you get what I'm saying. When you see it, when it's not all blacked out, you can get more of the particulars, or you get more definition to see how that car actually is going to look. And let me get these out of here with all pictures. Get that out of here. That's the only one right there, right? Yeah. Let's get this. I think we can get rid of those. Let's get rid of let me get rid of that one too. So let's get rid of that shakedown picture. Get rid of that shakedown picture. We don't need that one. That's old. Williams, I hope it doesn't look like them for all of testing. And let's just go ahead and put the Aston Martin in, and here we go. All right, so here's the Aston Martin right now. Let's go ahead and make this big real quick so we could take a better look and see some different things right here in regard to this car. So right here we have that big exit port on the aft sides of the cockpit. On the engine cover, you can still see that is very heavily designed, heavily sculpted out. You can see the underside of that car, now that we got some green on it, is definitely cut out. That is a very, like I was saying, that it's kind of a slim down side pod, but moving horizontally. And I really wish we could get a better topside aerial view of the Aston Martin, because I want to get an idea of that inlet for the side pod. What's the circumference on it? Not circumference, but what's the intake area of that? The rear wings are still very interesting to me, not seeing any of the beam wing back there. And their front wing, that top element, definitely largely profound. It's protruding out there. And so you got to remember also aggressive with the suspension and the anti-dive on this car via Adrian Newey. So that's something else that was very interesting as well. So Aston Martin doing not what Aston Martin does, but Adrian Newey doing what Adrian Newey does. And so you got more drivers out on track. Hamilton is out on track right now. All right. So Hamilton is out of the pitch right now. So Hamilton is out on track right now. And let's maybe stay on and just see. Like I said, it's not anything that you should take to the bank right now as far as lap times, but let's just see if Hamilton puts in a better time than 1:37 right now is our best time. And that's by a Racing Bull. So, and I don't want to say it because it's still too early to say, oh, that's not even something that's realized, because it is too early, but I just don't assume a Racing Bull is going to hold top of the charts in this session period, regardless if it's testing or not. To me, I just think that's going to be far-fetched. So I would like to see if Hamilton, while out, can actually pump in a time that is going to suffice for that. Now, that time is not going to work because that's 2:08, right? That's 2:08. So hopefully it's just kind of going around the track, kind of lollygagging, just kind of get the tires warmed up and see what they're going to pull in. It depends on what kind of program they're running right now, too. This might not be even anything remotely close to a push type program. They might just be like, hey, just go out and kind of do your thing. What's going on, Mechanic Mercedes? My brother right there says, where can we watch the testing? Honestly, bro, I don't think you can watch the testing anywhere. I didn't even see it on the Apple TV app. It's definitely not in the Formula One app. So I don't know if testing is being televised. Now, Julius was giving us some information in regard to the apps and what was going to be done and what could be done and all of this other stuff. So Julius might know, our family member right there. So Julius, are you seeing the testing televised anywhere right now besides us talking about it here? Julius might know. But as for me, I just kind of was running down and kind of got on. I didn't see it televised anywhere in my search. Now, also we do have some sector times down there, Limbad, Pia, and Verstappen. So no Ferrari car at that point in time. But right now, you could chill with us and talk some crap. You could talk some shit with us, bro. You know you good at that. You know you good at that, man. My bro right there can talk with the best. So yeah, Aston Martin gonna be looking, and I'm still kind of, I ain't gonna front, man. No, last hour will be on Sky. Okay, last hour will be on Sky. So that's gonna be on the session. That's gonna be session 2 for day 1. That's the afternoon session. So they'll have the last hour on there, which won't be a lot, but it will be something. But I'm still a bit disappointed that Lance Stroll is able to still be driving the Formula One, and he's going to be able to drive an Adrian Newey car that exactly he will handcuff with lack of driving ability, and that's cool. And like I said, I also saw a bit more of the Cadillac livery, and the chrome on there kind of does pop a little bit. But no, that's what I was gonna do, yo. I gotta do it. I gotta do it right now because I'm finna show y'all. I had already posted it, but I'm finna bring up a livery option that I damn well don't believe you all would say is not better than what they came out with. Because to me, this livery rendering and option, because a lot of you were saying that you don't like busy liveries. You don't like, some people didn't like the yellow. I like the yellow. Yellow is in Cadillac's color. I understand yellow does vet, but Chevy does vet, and that yellow is a very iconic color when it comes to the Corvette. But this rendering to me was fire as far as with something, because like I said, some of you all didn't like the yellow. You said you don't like busy, so I'm going to show you a render of a Cadillac livery, and I'm going to see what you think about this one, because to me, I think this one would hit a medium between all of us. So I think if you're leaning toward the black and the white because you don't like busy, but you like yellow because you like more customization and more personality, more characteristics in it, which is me, I think this one right here would say, you know what, that's a medium. That's a compromise. I think that's a compromise. So I think that's how y'all will feel about it. So I'm about to bring it up on screen, and you all let me know what you were saying. Then we can actually vote on it as well. We can go ahead and vote on that. So I'm going to see what y'all say. So let me go ahead and post it up in here real quick, and then I'm going to modify it so I can bring it in, and we can see it in large and in charge right here. So let me do my magic, and y'all tell me what you think. But I think y'all are going to be on board with it, honestly. I'd say it's a safe bet to say, you know what, that would have been, I think some of y'all are going to be like, you know what, that would have been pretty dope. It would have been dope had they did that. I think that's where y'all are going to sit. All right. Because to me, I think it's dope. And everybody's going to have different opinions, right? So I'm not saying everybody has to like the same livery. I dig it. Derwin liked it. I think Mechanic Mercedes, I think you like the livery as it's set with the kind of white and black, and now they do have the chrome in there. I wish they would have did some tints of gold in that. So yeah, I get it. I get that. I'm not down on that, but I think this one, had they did it, I think everybody would have been like, yo, that right there, that's something that we could deal with. I think we could deal with that. All right, here we go. Let me bring this into view. Mm-mm-mm. All right, where is it? Here it is right here. Boom. So y'all telling me that how do you feel about this livery option? How you feel about that? To me, now that's dope. Had Cadillac come out with that, I think everybody would have been pleased with that. To me, that's a dope livery. The blue, the white, the black, the Cadillac. This render right here, had Cadillac come out with something like this, I think everybody would have been, yo, I can that I can deal with. That is nice. I think everybody would have been like, that's nice. I think that's a good medium between us who like busy, like involved, and those who don't. I think this was a good medium. Or the shakedown livery. I'd have been cool with the shakedown livery too. But I think this livery would have been nice. It would have gave a nice presence on track. It had good color variation. So I'm all in on had they done that for sure. I'm all in on that. So we'll go with that from there. But yeah, I think Cadillac pulling that one would have been, yeah, I think that one would have been right. Man, I don't know about that, man. Where can no mechanic Mercedes Debbie's in there? So yeah, what do y'all think about that? But other than that, Lewis Hamilton is still six. Like I told you all, fifth, sixth is not gonna work for me. I think he got to pull. We got to start seeing some Ferrari higher up. Mechanic Mercedes says, "Bro brought back the Renault and slapped the Cadillac." Bro got jokes. The Reno, bring that Renault back, man. Bring that Renault back. And slap the Cadillac on it. Oh, man, you got jokes, bro. For sure. For sure. But yeah, but hey, I told y'all I'm still watching. I was hoping to see that time. Lewis Hamilton's lap time was, he's in the pits again, 139.6. Ain't even breaking out the 138s. But like I said, it's still early. We don't know how everything's going to unfold right there, so we'll see. So, yo, big shout out to y'all tuning in. Big shout out to everybody pulling up. Big shout out to the super chats that is going to go towards our next giveaway that we will be having. Mechanic Mercedes says that's the same thing, but on the other side. It's not. No, it's not really. It's not really the same thing. They don't have that gradient of the color on the engine cover where it's kind of like a gradient grate. They don't have that at all. So no, it's not the same thing. Not at all. Completely not the same thing. That livery right there gives you a bit more. It's different. So yeah. Yeah, that's another thing. Julius, right. That's another thing. You still got Aero rigs on. If you got Aero rigs on, if you got Aero, and then Julius says Aero rigs, the technical term for it is Aero rakes. So that, so you all don't get confused that you think me and my brother are talking about two different things. We're talking about the same thing. But yeah, if you got Aero rakes on, you're not doing a bunch of push laps. You're not running out there trying to run your hardest. You're really just, like I said, trying to get a measurement of how air is flowing over the car. And like I was saying, I like to see when they start doing a bit of the flow viz, right? I like to see that flow viz on the cars. I don't know what it is. I'd also like to see what different colors of flow viz that teams will use. So I also like to see that. So I'm a flow viz junkie to some degree. I like to see that because it's a more, I don't know how to say if it's more evolved than putting the streamers on there. Because to me, the streamers, because some teams, I remember there was one testing season where a team did use some streamers to try to get an idea, because that's a real time. You can see if the air gets caught, if they start standing up, if they just whirling around, or if they are kind of in good flow. And it does good for pitchers as well. Same thing with the flow viz, man. It's just two different mediums, two different formats, two different ways. Whoever and however you're comfortable with trying to collect your visual information and try to get an idea of how that air or how your aero package is working. Whatever you need to do it. That's what you got to do. So I just like seeing those different formats. I like seeing the different methodical ways of how these teams are going to move through their programs and try to find that sweet spot of where are we gonna get our performance from. So I like to see all of that, man. All of that. So you only got about 2 hours left in this session. Then they're gonna go to a small lunch break and go from there. So we will see how that goes. And there goes an image of Aero Rakes right there on the Red Bull that me and Julius were talking about. Wagyu, welcome to the fam. Big shout out. Hey, man, y'all give Wagyu some love. Give Wagyu some love and give it a honey bun. Welcome to the fam. Thanks for joining the Wolfpack fam. Don't forget to set up your Discord, because the family is going to be in Discord all day for today talking. Welcome to the fam. Set up your Discord so you can get in there and talk with the rest of the family members, and you can be in the Wolves Den when we have our private conversation together, where I get to hear your opinion and hear what you think about what's going on. So definitely get in that Discord. Big shout out to you. And now that we got the system back, I'm still trying to run some tests and make sure things is going to last a week. We will have F1 Minute coming back up again. That's where y'all get to come on, where we live on YouTube, and y'all get to come on and say your piece and give your takes. And we'll see this year if we have some other people actually show up and say some things. We had a couple of people show up and try to be clowns and then went back and do something else. They usually come in to do that. But we're going to have F1 Minute this season, so stay tuned on that, all right? All right, big shout out to everybody, man. Wagwan Walker, welcome to the fam. If I hacked that up, my bad. And a big shout out to Lewis Hamilton also. I don't know where his relationship with he and Kardashian is going to go, but if that's who he's choosing to be with, that's cool. I mean, that's what it is. This man's life. We just really having some fun with the Kim Kardashian thing. People don't take it so serious, but don't act like Kim Kardashian doesn't have a reputation out there, all right? But we just really having some fun with that. But I mean, it is true. Men don't do well with the Kardashian family. That's also a true thing, a consistent pattern, at least I'll say. And we're just hoping that it doesn't affect Lewis Hamilton negatively. Julius in the Super Chat says, did you see Alpine's wing open different from everyone else? No, brother, I didn't. I did not. And we all know sometimes different doesn't mean better, but I know it's kind of bad because I don't like Flavio Brigatore. I don't like what he stands for. I don't like what he did in Formula One, purposely did it. Now he's back, and he was in some files, some Epstein files too, Brigatore, Flavio. We've seen your name in there, man. Don't know what to degree you was doing, but it was some heinous, disgusting. I don't want to get too much in that because it puts me in a different mental space, but Alpine, as far as people that don't have nothing to do with that, Alpine is a team going to Mercedes power unit, and now Julie's talking about, because there was another, Ferrari's wings will open up different times. Their timing was, offset. But now Alpine, Julius is saying their wings open up totally different, so I'm going to take a look at that when I get off. There is always an area of who can find something different, but also it leads to performance. Because all the time, different is wowing because it's different, but it don't mean it's good. And we've seen different examples of that through the seasons. Remember, we had a Formula One car that literally had 6 tires on it. Literally had 6 tires on it. Remember that. 6 tires on it. 2 front mini tires. So we've seen different in Formula One, but don't necessarily mean it works better. All right, so do keep that in mind. Another team, Audi, seeing where they are going to go. And how their season will be, Bortoleto, especially hoping they get a good car for that young man, because I want to see his potential on track with a good car and all of that. So yeah, Julius, I'll definitely take a look at that. Right now, we got Ocon to the top of the charts. All right, so I haven't seen Hamilton at the top. We got Ocon at the top, but it's still early. Day 1, Aero rakes, all types of things going on. Just wait until day 3, second session. That's when you're gonna see a little bit of. We're gonna show you something, but maybe not show you too much. All right. So peace and love to everybody showing up. Big shout out. Testing has started. We are starting to get ready to enter into the real Formula One season for 2026. And I'm sure Drive to Survive will be coming out next month. I didn't see the date on that. Y'all stay healthy, stay safe, stay positive. Peace.